the meeting afterwards. So, okay, so hello everyone. We are here to meet Gunnar. Is Gunnar or Gunnar? I don't know if I'm
no.
Gunnar. Okay, from Citizens Foundation, Reykjavik, and I think that what the point of the meeting is not to ambitious. It's just to have the first meeting and share experiences. We want to present you the work that we are doing right now here in MediaLab with Jago and the rest of the team of participatory team from MediaLab, and also that Miguel and Jago told us that you already had, like, I don't know, 2-3 experiences with the participatory budgets over there?
5, or we've been doing this in Reykjavik since 2010 every year. So,
okay.
And also been working with other projects where our software and expertise has been used, but like in Eastern Europe and elsewhere. So all counted, I don't know, we should make a count, but it's probably something like 8 or 9 projects, PB project that we have been involved in to some extent.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, well, we're CivicWise. I don't know if you hear about CivicWise before.
I just heard the name, but I'm not familiar with how it works.
Okay, well, we're like an international community all over the world in different cities: London, Paris, Milano, Valencia, Madrid, Canarias here in Spain, Curitiba in Brazil. I don't know, some cities around the world. We are right now more or less like 50, maybe 50, 60 active people of working in some projects in different cities. And for
so
is
it all voluntary work, or is it a?
No, we're trying to get money, all of us. But right now
cool.
it's
very good. So sorry about this. Just a couple of minutes. No, not
okay.
Sorry, half a minute.
Okay.
Very sorry about that interruption again. I hope there won't be any more. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay. So yeah, well, our goal is to develop a project for territory and to make it sustainable in all the layers. I mean, financial and everything. So we're trying to reach money, of course, also, and. For example, this project is an example of this, working for MediaLab-Prado. Jago contact us and offer us to make this project, and because they were here in Spain, they make the first participatory budget this year.
Okay.
They end up that process some months ago, and they want to make a lead and try to know what happened next when the projects are selected for the budget. Then how we can deal with that project and how we can make it also people participate in that next step of the project. So we start from that, and we are right now, I don't know, like 1 month working on this, And well, we have some ideas to improve the platform, the website platform. Is Decide Madrid. I don't know if you check it.
Yeah, we have been. We were consulting with Miguel and others on the Decide Madrid, and yes, I'm a bit familiar with that. Not an expert though, but yeah, I know what it works.
So yeah, and right now our ideas are, our approach is to try not just to give people more space to participate and to answer and to give their ideas. Is more also to give them resources, human resources and material resources. I mean, the spaces that they need to develop that project, and the network that they need to develop that project. And when we say network, we're not just talking about contact with professionals and technical people from the Civic Council, also with the rest of the people in the city. So they can build communities around projects, and they can make that citizen networks to have like more power to develop that project. So the ideas that we are trying to develop right now is more or less is like have a social media profiles in the platform in the Decide Madrid. So when people have this profile, they can put, I don't know, their interest. I like sport, culture, education. I'm good at I don't know, technological problem, or I'm good at as I don't know, maker or whatever. So then the platform can resolve that problem. So if you need maybe a maker for develop the project, you can find it in the Decide Madrid. You can find a neighbor from your neighborhood to help you to do that, or maybe you can find projects easier if you match these two things. If you have one project about the sport in your neighborhood and you are interested in sport, the platform is going to match this, and it's going to tell you, you know what, there's this project in your neighborhood, so be aware of this. You can join this project, whatever. Yeah. So more or less is, it's more complex than this, but it's more or less that. Okay.
So
yeah, you have some question?
Yeah, just to have one thing clear about the PP projects after they have been chosen. Are you talking about the city taking care of them being made real, or are you talking about that the citizens will participate in executing the project, even up to building the project themselves? So we're talking about an in-between scale where the city does some stuff and the citizens do some stuff, and it's like different between different projects. And
the thing is that this kind of thing depends on the project, depends on the specifics for the project, depends on the scale of the project, depends on what it's about the project. So that's why also why we decide not to make like a specific rules to make real these projects. It's just to give them these resources. So depends on the project, they're going to use this. If the project is to build I don't know, a square in your neighborhood, a little square in your neighborhood, maybe they can work to materialize this square, but it is as a project for city scale is impossible. So it depends on the project. And right now there's also a difficult part, and this is what we're working on right now is how to involve the people from the civic council, people who is going to be in charge to make this project real, because this is another actor, another agent in the process, and it's going to be, I mean, if we don't deal with this, it's going to be a conflict, because it's going to be the council in front of the community. So what we want to do is not to confront these two sides of the process, is to make just one thing. I mean, the council needs to be another agent, another neighbor in the community. So
one stakeholder.
And right now we're working on this.
So this is basically, it's like a combination. It's an online offline combination where you need to both do things in software together online, but definitely also people meeting up not only in like meeting halls, but on the scene where the project is to be executed, and discussing, seeing it where you are, if you see what I mean. So depending on projects, of course.
One thing that we want to make very, very clear is that we are not, the starting point is not the platform, the website. It's not the digital side. It's the physical side, because sometimes with this kind of project, people confuse and they think that they need to build this network and make everything in the digital side. Then they forget about the physical side, and then the project is go down. I mean, it's not working.
Yes. Totally agree. The thing is that we have to create a network of people, and they work together sometimes online, but offline is like the starting point, like you said. And I mean, the best way to keep track of a network of people today is obviously online, if you see what I mean. To like, if you take the Facebook analogy, to create an event, which is the meeting or meetup where you're going to show up, because that's what we used to, and it works really well. So it has to be something like, this is, and I mean, generally, did I understand correctly, were you thinking about making the software to do what the software needs to do, creating it? Was that part of the project?
Sorry, what? To develop the software?
Yes.
We have person right now is going to be 2 people, which is like the technical support.
Okay, so are they programmers or?
The idea of this project is to develop a prototype.
I knew that, but I was just wondering about the scope and about the available resources as well. Okay, definitely very cool. And just one question before we go on. Have you seen the new version of our Your Priority software?
Sorry?
You know our Your Priority software, which is used in Better Reykjavik? I should have sent you the... Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, but I don't understand the priority software. What do you mean?
It's our software, the Citizens Foundation software. It's called Your Priorities.
Okay. No, I don't know.
Okay. Because the thing is that what you were describing when you were talking about like the group around the different projects and things like that, that actually really fits extremely well in with the thinking of Your Priorities. It's made up of communities, which is like the bigger sort of entity, and then below that we have the groups where you are could be discussing a specific project, and inside that there is space for ideas on how to work with the project. It will not, any more than any software, solve all your needs, but you should at least check it out and see. Well, at the very least, it will give you some ideas on how to proceed, if you see what I mean.
Okay.
It is a quite similar approach. I'm going to send you now, because I'll have to run after we finish. I'm going to send you now
cool.
a presentation. Just a minute.
There's also an important idea about thing that I forget. Yeah, is the another thing that we want to do with this the software that we are thinking is that facilitate the aggregation of people to the community, because sometimes when these kind of processes are working in the physical way, maybe you know that they are meeting, or I don't know, Mondays at 7 p.m. every Monday, so you know that they are going to be there and everything. And maybe they are also posting this event online and everything. But if they don't upload what I have been doing in that meeting, from our point of view, it's not working, because sometimes if you know that they are working Monday, okay, but first day that you're going to be there, you're not going to talk a lot because you're trying to understand what is happening. Then to the second meeting, you are going to start to meet people and to know people, and maybe you say something, and then in the third meeting maybe you are like 100%. But if you have all the information online, you can be part of the group like 100% since the first meeting. So it's very easy to read and watch all the things that is happening over there online in that platform. So you know what is happening, you know if you are interested, you know the people, you know everything, and then you go to the first meeting and you're like 100% go with the project. So
just one thing which I think that the general approach you should take would be to obviously define what you want to do, which you probably have started and will continue to do, and then try as much as you can to use software that is already there for the purposes which you can. And all kinds of software. I mean, Google Docs, for example, this is not confidential information, if you see what I mean. This is open information about the projects. And it doesn't really matter if we sort of, just anything, if you see what I mean. Etherpad, Pirate Pad, Hangout, whatever. Just try to not spend your resources on creating software where there's already something that can do that kind of stuff, but rather use the resources to connect this software together. Maybe to create, like, just to take a simple example, just to create one web page which has access to all the tools that people will need, and make people be able to access this from like a help button or something like that. If you see what I mean, just facilitate as much as you can instead of creating, not because creating is much more fun and all that, but it's so much more work. It's because then all the bug fixes and everything, and it always goes way overestimates. I haven't been in a single programming project which was on time. I can't recall it. So that would definitely be my recommendation, to try to use as much as possible already existing software. Whether it's open source or not depends on, preferably open source, of course. But when it's not available, or the commercial stuff is better, then just use whatever works best, because you should be focusing on how to connect the people, how to create those interfaces between the people and the people and the software, because that's also another way of connecting people. It's just one more tool. And I think you're right in not trying to tell people exactly how they should work, but I also think you should at the same time have really good guidelines, really good templates. See, you can work like this, and that will, like, just in like 5 items or something like that. You understand what I mean? Just like really simple, clear stuff. 30-second videos that show you how to do it. This kind of I think that is also another, because the main issue is always communication. That's the main problem, because the other flip side of communication is misunderstanding, which is like one of our biggest problems in general, because it makes it so hard for people that agree to even realize sometimes that they agree. So, and yeah, communication and making that work well should be definitely the sort of, it's a core focus of a project like this, I would say.
Yeah, totally agree. And about that first thing about the use software that is already working. I mean, right now this is the point that we need to start to work. I mean, we need to try to start to think about what are we going to need for that profile account from people, for that connection. What is going to be the interface? We're going to need a place to upload videos about the physical meeting. So we're going to need an interface like a chat for the communities that are working on this project. And, I mean, try to think about this specifically, and of course, for this kind of things, we are going to find a lot of software that are already working. So it's more like, as you said, it's more like build the methodology, not build the software. It's build the methodology and then use for that methodology the software that are already working. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, definitely. And like I was saying, I mean, there's the kind of thinking, the way I understand what you're working on fits really well with the design of your priorities, and actually also this just released a first sort of alpha version of a notification system, which has, like, it works in two different ways. One is in delivery of emails, which you can control exactly how much or little you get, and it will send you notification about things that you might be interested in, as well as notifications obviously about what you have interacted with, which is its main purpose. But the sort of AI or algorithm also, but Robert, my colleague, knows more about this. Actually, this is his baby, much more than mine. And also we have, there's now like just click on the link if you well, you want to see it. I'll send you a screenshot so you can see.
Okay, you send me this email.
And now to figure out how to upload files in this one. Where's the text box? Oh. Oh, here it is. Okay.
And who developed this software? I mean,
it's the Citizens Foundation. We've been doing this since 2008.
Ah, okay.
But we just released, early this year, we released a new version, which is a total rewrite, like for mobile. Yeah, totally mobile workable, and actually in our last idea generation for a PP here in Iceland, in Kosovo, we saw that ideas were going viral. They were like, people were sharing them and resharing, and it's really, really interesting to see.
Okay.
I'm just gonna send you the screenshot in email, because I have no idea why it doesn't, how I should do that in this Hangout thing. A bit of a slow connection. It should be on it. We have this like Facebook-like feature where you can click on. You can see if you have notification, and you can view those notification interface and see what's been happening with the ideas that you are interested in. So if you're only a member of one group, then you will get all the notifications about what is happening in that group. You can choose to have more or less of them, but in general, we will get the default, which means that everybody that is registered to this group will get those notifications and can get them either or both in browser and email. And this is sort of the aspect of finding what you're interested in is another aspect of it. That's like an artificial intelligence project called Active Citizen that we're working on, which is and will be integrated into your program, but also be programmed in such a way that it can be used in other applications as well, because we don't think for a minute that you have to solve every issue or anything. Like there's lots of cool stuff around. Sure. So yeah. Have you heard of Lumio?
Lumio, yeah.
Yeah. You've been using that?
Sorry?
Have you been using that?
Not so much, but yet I know how it works. I think it's too interesting. I mean, I think it's interesting, but I also think that it's a software that needs to be used not in the first place of the first decisions, because I think that sometimes this kind of software or process are too focused on the decision making. I mean, how to make decision and to do it fast and how to manage this. So what they used to use is like a voting process, and I think that when the methodology or the process are too focused on the vote, then sometimes people don't have this first step, which is to debate about the project and to debate openly about the proposal and to build that proposal in an open debate, not to make it always by voting and everything. So I think it needs to be like an agora first, like a place to debate about and to build together the proposal. Then about specific things about this proposal, then you can make some decisions, and then you can use, for example, this kind of software or methodology, which is Lumio. So you go then in this second step to this software to vote and to decide about a specific thing, but not about the whole proposal, because then I think is
No. I mean, definitely, I agree on that. And I mean, it doesn't really matter what you use. What matters is that it's as easy as possible to make a transition from offline to online. And you have to be able to just enter it right away, preferably with like a secretary or somebody that is willing to write down what is being said. And you hit enter, and it's online as well, in a structured way, not like in a long text document which you can't find anything or something like that. So it's those kind of issues, because the thing is that when we're doing offline stuff, then we have the voice, we have the body, we have the touch even, and all those things. And the thing that we need to translate specifically to online is the content, is the words, preferably in text, but sometimes in video as well. And this has to be done seamlessly, because the thing is that if you say, okay, I will finish this after the event, then really sorry, it's so less likely that it will happen, and the time frame in which it will happen will be much slower, which will like slow down the whole inertia of the project itself, if you see what I mean. It will be the barrier that stops things from working, because it's not instantaneous or almost instantaneous. And this is the kind of thing that text synthesis will really save us in when it's working for other languages than English, if you see what I mean, and when it's working properly for English as well. Because we should be able just to speak. We will be able just to speak our language, and it will be translated. And you guys are lucky, because English and Spanish, you're probably number 2 in like, because of how many people speak Spanish, which is brilliant. But you see what I mean? This is essential that we get this really quickly, because the interface if it is hindering us, then it's, yeah, if it's slowing us down, and it's slowing the whole project down. I mean, it's obvious when you say it like that. So, so that's a critical thing, and yeah, it's I mean, if that is not working, then if it has to be done afterwards, then it has to be done immediately afterwards. If you see what I mean, it has to be allocated in the program that for the next 2 or 3 hours after a half-an-hour session or whatever it takes, then you are going to put all this stuff online, and then you are going to notify people now this is online. If you see what I mean, this is because that's the problem with, that's what Facebook is doing its job really well, unfortunately, is that people go there because the interesting stuff is there, and because the family is there, or their friends, or their clubs, or whatever it is, and it's all there, and it works really well in real time, and it's happening all the time, so you get glued to the screen, and you're stuck there. And then Facebook can use that to sell other people advertisements to shove in front of you. And unfortunately, something like this is what it needs to be. It has to be spontaneous, it has to be interesting, and yeah, that's basically somewhat what we're trying to do with your priority. We're trying to make this kind of civic work fun and easy and quick, to make this transition from online to offline as easy as possible. But again, we don't pretend to have all the solutions to everything or anything, and nobody has at the moment. There is no single tool to do everything, and there will probably never be, unless in a really sort of condensed context, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Because, yeah, of course, this is another thing. I mean, the tool maybe is working. We can develop a tool or software that maybe can work, or maybe work here in Spain, and we don't know why it's not working in France, because the context, the people are different, and so this is the thing. It's not going to be so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, even if, I hadn't thought about that angle even, but you're totally right. I mean, people even count differently in different cultural, like on your fingers. Like, how do you count with your fingers? Where do you start? Yeah, I do like this. I was doing this exercise with people from lots of countries. I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the other people, one of the guys did something I can't even do with my fingers. 1, 2. So even small things like this. So So okay. But yeah, the main thing is to create those strong groups. I mean, whether you would be using your priorities to organize them, or you could be using Facebook if that's not too distasteful. I mean, I sometimes use Facebook for gathering people, but on a civic project like this, I would get a really bad taste in my mouth. But they're there, and the people are there, so it would be wrong to dismiss it out of hand without weighing the pros and the cons. But I have a bad taste in my mouth just telling you this right now, if you see what I mean. But you understand what I'm.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I mean, I'm wondering how do you manage with the projects that are approved for the budget? How do you manage with them afterwards? I mean, after that.
It's really easy to answer that, unfortunately. The thing is that the PP that we have the most hands-on experience with is the PP here in Reykjavik, which was called Better Neighborhoods, but is now just changed the name, My Neighborhood or something like that. I'll find it out later. What happens there is that after the project have been first, the ideas for the project are called for, like in an open online session, and then the city evaluates the project, how much they cost to do, and then after that, the people vote, like on a secure vote on the project. So this is quite similar to Decide Madrid. Actually, the guys there said they were modeling it on our experience, and probably others as well. And then the city basically executes the project. there is no or has been no contact with the citizens afterwards, and no sort of getting input or anything, partially because this is a huge workload for the department of the city that takes care of this. So what they do is they just do it in the same way that they do every other project. Once it's approved from the PB, then it just becomes one more of the city projects.
Yeah.
And to me, that's very unfortunate. We have talked about this to the city, with the city for years and mentioned this. And it's, I don't know, there's like more ongoing discussions now, but not specifically on this, because the PB vote is coming up in a few days. So there's always deadlines, if you see what I mean. So more sort of difficult or wider ranging questions often get delayed or not even answered. And it's like, it's not because somebody doesn't want to answer, and it's just because everybody's bloody busy.
Yeah. I mean, this is the main problem that we are dealing with right now, because, I mean, first of all, we want to develop this kind of social media that I told you, so people can be connected, but be connected around the interest of the city and around projects and everything. But for example, as you said, Facebook is working really good. So you can ask why people is going to be there to be connected with their neighborhoods if they already have Facebook. So the key here to make people go there is that they can find there something that they can't find in Facebook to build, to know people and to meet people, to build projects in the cities. And this thing that they can find is the civic council. It's the technical support. So what we need to do is to, I mean, this thing that you said is to make technical people, council people, be involved also in this process, and to make them want to develop this project with the citizens, because normally, as you said, this is too complex. So with I mean, legally they can say, okay, this is not my issue. They approve the budget. The project is has been approved. So I'm going to execute it as I always doing it. So
would you be able to somehow figure out the interests of the civic council people in order to pair them with projects that they were more likely to do well and be really interested in? Is that something that might be possible?
Yeah, right now this is the thing that we are trying to answer, and in fact next week, probably, I don't know if maybe tomorrow or next week, we're going to have a meeting with some people, voluntaries, people from the Civic Council, to have an interview and to try to know what they need and to execute this project.
Okay, that's brilliant, but you also need to think about not only for them, but also for the citizens. You need to continuously think in terms of rewarding, of giving them something back, and it's I'm obviously talking about, in the end, the project itself is the physical reward, but along the way, someone has to be responsible, whether it's the civic council or citizens has to be responsible for taking photos of progress and telling, now we have done what you suggested, and always giving back all the time, because that's, that really means a lot to most of us. And another thing, which is a similar thing, but not quite the same, is to somehow show, at least online, which people have been doing the most work, which like have a list of the most productive or whatever it is, because that kind of vanity thing, it appeals to a lot of us as well. It gives us impetus. Okay, well, I'm number 3 on that list. Well, that's cool, or something like that. So
yeah, last week we have a meeting, and we were doing a brainstorming, trying to think as we are civic people from Civic Council, because what we want to do is, as you said, is to their wording needs to be very practical one. I mean, we need to solve some problem that they have. It's not just to explain that these processes are cool and are good for people and are good for city, because they are going to be just okay, but I have work to do. So our idea is to, I mean, if we're thinking that, I mean, just to keep this metaphoric example about Facebook that we are talking during the session. If you go to Facebook, you have different interfaces. If you're a person, you have an interface and you have some facilities. If you are a page, if you're a company, you have a page, and then the interface is different. If you are a group, the interface is different. So we're thinking that it needs to be this kind of way. I mean, if you're a citizen and you want to work in a project, the interface is going to answer to your question, that what do you need to be involved in this project. But if you are a person from Civic Council, then the interface is going to be different, and the interface needs to be linked with the process of your work. So for that, we need to know what is the work that what is the process that they need to follow to execute the project. So then we can, I don't know how, but then we can solve any problem that they have along the process. And what we need is to make them believe that with this platform, they can work better for that project. So I don't know how, but maybe some way this platform can be like a task manager for this process, and also can be like I don't know, information site, information space, so you can get information from citizens, so you can develop better your project. I don't know. We don't know how now, but what we are very clear is that we need to think about Civic Council as the same way as we are thinking about citizens. I mean, when we think about this, develop this software, we are thinking for citizens in a very practical way. We are thinking about how we can solve some problems that people have during the process. So it's not just to think about this for citizens and then get involved the Civic Council as another thing that citizen needs. It's just to go to the other point of view and then to think about what need these people from Civic Council for this project, how we can make it easier, this work that they have to do. So they can really believe that this platform and this methodology in this project and this process is useful also for them, and it's easier, it's making easier their work also for them. It's not just for citizens, it's for everyone that is involved in this process. So
okay, I need to stop now or quite very soon.
Okay.
Just one thing, can you send me, I mean, in Spanish, can you send me some information so I have some like textual information on what you're doing? Do you have anything?
Yeah, of course. But, do you want it in English, or it's okay?
I mean, if you have it in English, that's cool. But if you don't, then Spanish is fine as well. I mean, I can both read a bit of Spanish and there's Google Translate as well. So
okay. Now right now we're working in Spanish, but
no, just send me in Spanish, please. Much better than wait for English.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah, cool. I send you. Yeah.
Okay, so good for now.
Okay, just one question that I have, and I forgot to answer, to ask you, is just to have in mind more or less the scale of the process over there in Reykjavik. I mean, how much money is for the budget, and how many projects?
It's 450 million Icelandic kroner. It was just increased this year. And I think, let me just check what that is in euros, so I'm not going to lie. It's not, sorry, I need to check our presentation. It's
okay.
It's actually in the presentation which I sent you. There's a better neighborhood specific presentation. And there the numbers are in euros, so it's better to, because that's correct, not what I was looking at. That did not look correct. So
okay.
So I think,
how many projects has been approved?
It's
more or less.
It's 420 right now, and then we have a voting coming up now in a few days, and after that it will be around 500 or something like that. So a bit
500.
more. Yeah.
Whoa.
Over all the years since we started. So.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, and we have no idea about how well the city has done them. I'm not saying they haven't done them. I'm just saying literally we have no idea. I mean, I can see some of them, but they are not marked, and I've been trying to get the city to mark them, but. I actually put in an idea for this year's PP for every neighborhood that they should mark the projects from better neighborhoods. So it's sort of a meta idea, if you see what I mean. And I wouldn't be surprised if the city had thrown it out on technicalities because it's not a project as such. But we'll see. That was my last try in getting them to mark them, because. And that's something you should keep in mind as well. You really have to mark the project so people know, oh, wow, this great bench. Oh, it came from beside Madrid. Or, wow, this is cool. Oh, it came from there. That's the best advertisement, sort of ongoing advertisement. Yeah. It only costs you once to mark it. And then, yeah, of course, update. I mean, yeah, the markings go off and stuff. But you know what I mean? It really is something that will keep it in the people's minds. So. Definitely do that. But I have to run now. Sorry about that.
Your voice cut enough.
Yeah, I was saying I have to run now.
Seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, Gunnar, thank you so much.
And send me some info, and I will definitely send you something back. And if you have any questions, I mean, we can do another Skype later on for sure if you want to.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we can have another meeting maybe next week, and we keep in touch by email. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool, man.
So
good meeting you.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Nice to meet you.
Thank
Bye.
You. Bye.
Bye.